Hey, what's up, Exit the Matrix family? Bob here. Hope you're having a great day. Hey, today I just wanted to talk about, is there some kind of concerted effort, a cabal, you could call it, a mass conspiracy on the earth to push a one world centralized authoritarian government? And those of you that know me, and most of you already probably feel this way, because let's be honest, if you're following me, then you're probably thinking for the most part along the same lines I do. Then we would say yes, of course there is. But when you try to explain this to people, you're always met with well, there's no way they could get that many people, to follow the same plan. There's no way they could get that many people to turn against the human race and have an allegiance with just a small percentage of people ruling from behind the scenes. And I can understand why people think that way. They are very compartmentalized in the way that they think. Most of their life is viewed through a small box, through their daily life, their daily routines. Most of the information they come into contact with is the people that they work with and that they get through their devices, TV, radio, phone, computer. And as we know, most of that information, especially from mainstream sources, your network TV, your cable news agencies and such, is all controlled, manipulated propaganda. Then they gain information from, going to church every Sunday. More propaganda. They go on these social media sites, and some true information may come across their way, but it's quickly dismissed as, a theorist, thinking, if you get what I'm saying here. Because, we live in a day and age when you can't even speak your mind anymore, because the gatekeepers of information are evil, demonic assholes. So most of that information is tailored to them through algorithms and AI, their likes and dislikes and such. Most normal, just regular people that are, NPCs, I would call them, because essentially they're so compartmentalized and they're so routine driven and blind to everything going on around them, anything deeper than face value. Most of them are just, controlled through pointless crap. Sports, information about celebrities and movies and TV shows and such. That's what most of people's feeds look like on their social media accounts, because that's one of the easiest ways to control people, is to just fill them with nonsense and to keep them occupied, but don't teach them anything, right? It doesn't always have to be nefarious. It doesn't always have to be pushing a political, view or anything like that. A lot of times, most people are just ignorant, because that's all they do, is they just waste their time watching pointless TikTok videos and, how to cook this and how to cook that, how their sports teams are doing. I mean, look at look at how many pathetic men there are in our society. And of course, a lot of these men would when you run into them out in, in the regular world, they got their big trucks and they act like they're badasses and this and that, but they're really just a joke, honestly. They'll sit there, they'll memorize every sports freaking, statistic you can ever imagine. They'll battle all day long about between who's the better basketball player of all time, LeBron James or Michael Jordan. Was Tom Brady the greatest quarterback ever? Or is Mahomes the next Tom Brady? Or look how many pathetic men there are, man. Like, just look at them. These are the men that we'd hope that would help right this ship, But no, they waste their time on stupid-ass sports and shit. And don't get me wrong, people, I love sports. As you know, I'm a soccer coach. Especially for youth, sports is very important because it gives kids a focus. It helps them build their body up. It teaches them discipline and teamwork. And it keeps them out of trouble for the most part. While their other friends are out doing drugs and humping away and stuff and, and all kinds of stuff, they're actually focused on a field and they're getting better, physically and mentally. But a lot of men don't give that stuff up when they become adults. It's like the glory days. They just keep holding on to this, the rest of their life, It's all they care about, sports. Trust me, people, I used to be there. I'm speaking from one of those people. There was a time in my life where I did fantasy football and I had to follow every game. And it was like, that's all I'd listen to was like sports talk shows and stuff. People, this is a joke. You literally got your women wearing other men's names on their backs. Wearing their jerseys and such. Worship of an athlete and all that. And I do appreciate athletic skills and the time and effort that has to be invested into that. I'm not trying to down these players that have reached high levels of athleticism. I'm just saying us people that follow them sometimes are ridiculous. Imagine if you can get people that cult following into sports. How else, how easy is it to get them to be in a cult following of a religion or a one wing of the political side where that's all that consumes them also. Same thing with politics, same thing. Look how many people are far left, far right. And it's like they could never see anything from the other side because there's no compromise in them. It's like two teams. It's like a sport. And of course, we understand that this is all part of the plan of divide and conquer. Now, people would say, those same people that are obsessed with sports and maybe the mainstream version of politics and such and religion and all that, and they would laugh at you trying to explain to them that, yes, there has been powers behind the scenes for thousands of years, going back pre-flood time even, to the times of Atlantis. Certain bloodlines and certain power structures are still in place, and they've always been, and they rule from the shadows. And that they pick agents in particular positions of power and influence in every country on earth to do their bidding. And people will do it because most people just want an easy life and security. So most people you can manipulate and control just by money, by ill-gotten currency. Because here's the truth, people. If you'll sell out humanity to work for these demons and you'll do it for some debt-based fiat currency? You're a traitor to humanity. And you're slightly demonic yourself at that point, because now you have become a parasite on humanity. You've moved past just being the victim. Now you're one of the parasites. And we know the types that they go after. Politicians, lawyers. I don't know how to put this lightly, because once again, censorship. Let's just say those that look at your body and try to supposedly help your body in certain ways with certain mixtures and, and such. And I know they're not all bad. Some are good. But there are a lot, once again, they'll do anything for money and prestige. You've also got, obviously, media that are in those positions that they have to control, entertainment. Hell, even some of your sports athletes we were just talking about are part of this organized group of people to control your perception of this world, to push propaganda, and to further enslave you in the Matrix. So, some people, however, maybe money's not as much of their focus. Maybe they live simpler, or they just aren't as worried about material things. And so there's certain other ways sometimes that these people are controlled. And so steps in people like Joffrey Epstein's. Because I don't even know, folks, if I can even say that name either. Who knows what's censored and what's not anymore. You get my point. And you got, we got another one that's starting to come to light. Old Mr. Puffy Diddy. Puffy Diddler. Yes. And these types of guys, they run things called honeypots. Now, this is all backed by those in central IQ, if you get my meaning, that were also placed in those positions of unelected positions of power within our government. Well, they help set up these honeypots, and they use these entertainers and these investors, these hedge funders, these basically anybody that can get in with the elite, with the rich and famous, with the CEOs, with the media figures. Well, they set up these honeypots and they invite them to parties. And of course, hey man, they just invited me to a party with Puffy Diddler. Oh man, it's fantastic. Yeah, there's going to be the heads of a bunch of corporations there, like super billionaires. There's going to be, oh my God, movie stars and music stars there. It's going to be fantastic, man. I'm almost pissing myself over this. Then they go to these things and then they're wined and dined and, and then some drugs start getting passed around and the party gets kind of wild, man. I mean, this is like off the hook, right? I mean, you got naked women everywhere, and then all of a sudden you're like, hey man, the real party's down in the basement, bro. Yeah, go down. Yeah. Trust me. You're gonna trust me. You're gonna thank me later. And this might take a couple, times that you're going to these parties before you're invited to the back room or the downstairs, where the real party is. Well, and you go into that real party, and I think from Joffrey, we get the idea of exactly what the treats are. And, it's in this basement, and you see other celebrities doing this with these, females and sometimes males that we're learning. Hell, they may even be other stars, Well, things get wild there. Things happen because everybody's on drugs, right? Well, you didn't notice all these cameras because they're hidden. Well, the whole thing was surveilled. Every inch of that special party section of the house, that special real party area. Yep, all surveilled, all recorded. Next morning, maybe it might take you 2 days to recover after a party like that, right? You might not even remember what the hell happened. You know, you go back to whatever you do, and you brag to some of your buddies and stuff. Man, I met this actor, that musician. It was fantastic. I partied like I never even partied in college. It was amazing, man. What all happened? Well, the first part was this and that. Then I went to the real party, and after that, I don't remember anything. Well, then all of a sudden, one day you get maybe on your messaging or, who knows, a phone call, a knock on the door. Hey, we need to sit down and talk. Remember I invited you to that party the other day? Yeah. Okay, well, we need to talk about something now. And you sit down with them, and guess what? Hey, they pull out a laptop and they say, okay, here, I want to show you what you did the other night. Then they're showed what they did, and then they say, okay, now here's what we need you to do. And there you go, people. That's the breakdown, a simplified breakdown, as much as I could, trying to, double speak because of censorship, if you get my drift, of a honeypot. So that's another major way that they control these people, that they build this network of influential and powerful people to manage their New World Order. That help them to continue building it towards its totality. And that's why you always ask these people, man, how could they turn against their own kind? How could they do these evil things? Man, I thought that was a great celebrity. Oh man, that musician, I loved him. I listened to their music forever. Oh man, that CEO, why would he do that? He's already a multimillionaire. Oh my God, that media person, that everybody believed them, trusted them. Well, people, you got to understand, that's major leverage there. That even puts the mafia to shame. That makes the mafia's games look like child's play when you really think about it. And guess what? I really want to tell you the funniest thing about that. Not really funny, but in a sick, funny way. Your taxes are paying for that. Oh, yes. By these unelected officials, your taxes are paying for that. It's unbelievable, right? Well, that's truth. You want the cold, hard truth? This is why most people in society cannot go down these rabbit holes, because they're weak and they're compartmentalized and they're essentially NPCs. I'm not saying they don't think on their own. They're not a real person or anything. I'm using it as a derogatory name because they're imbeciles. They're ignoramuses, and they're too weak to learn the truth. They don't want the truth. They want lies. That's why they go to church every Sunday. So they can get filled with lies that they're going to be saved by, from a character that was created by literally the same power structure we're talking about. And once again, P.S., I do believe that Yeshua was a real person that walked the earth. However, read the Nag Hammadi and you'll realize he was actually a mystic teacher, and the whole character you believe in from your Bible was the created avatar of that person, was a created character spun off of that person that was trying to actually teach deep truth. And they created this other character to put you back to sleep, to control you, to get you to tithe, to get you to build their power structure, and to continue their manipulation of the human race. Hate me for hate me for what I'm telling you. That's fine. If that's how you feel, but it's the truth. You just haven't realized it yet because you're still asleep. And of course, there's other ways that they build this network of people. Oh, they recruit them in colleges. You've probably seen the movie Skull and Bones. Oh yes, all these secret societies, they handpick their up and coming proteges, and those ones are really usually high power. They're the ones that are made CEOs and stuff, and top lawyers and government officials, because they are indoctrinated and they are trained right out of college to be handpicked. See, you could go to school all you want. You could have straight A's. You could be valedictorian. You could, be excellent, upstanding person in your community. Be a genius, essentially. But if you're not one of these types that fall for these tactics, or if you don't have the right personality that they can mold and use, you're never going to join this club. Honestly, it's the weak-minded ones that they look for. And there's other ways, of course, too. There's just straight-up threats, they can use against people. A lot of people fear death and fear what could happen to their loved ones, and so they use that leverage, too, on people. And sometimes it's a combination of all these different things. Sometimes you're recruited in a college, and you're in one of these fraternities or secret orders and sororities or such, and perhaps you start trying to pull out of what you kind of got yourself involved in college, and then they use these other tactics to reel you back in. Now they own you for life. You're 22 years old and they own you for the rest of their lives. You know the term, selling your soul, right? So, I guess I went down a lot of avenues, but I hope you could see the net that I'm weaving here, the connections. So people say there's no way there could be a cabal of people all working together single-mindedly towards the same aims of building this one world, centralized, authoritarian, totalitarian government structure. Well, folks, you're looking at them every day on TV. Some of you may even work with them. Hell, you may be one of them. Now, do they think that they're worshiping the demiurge or the devil of this world or his minions, interdimensional beings, or perhaps leftover royal Atlanteans that were maybe the Brotherhood of Darkness? Because you all know that, right? The battle in Atlantis that destroyed Atlantis, tore it asunder, was a battle between the Brotherhood of Light and the Brotherhood of Darkness. They were two factions within the Atlantean hierarchy, and they, at one point, they worked together because they understood the duality of this world. And sometimes you need a bit of both to get things done. But they ended up warring with each other. You could read about this in some of the Hindu Vedic texts about the battles between the gods and their vimanas, their flying ships. It's all there, people. The history's all there. You just chose to imagine that's all make-believe and stuff because you've been told it was make-believe, right? I know a lot of Christians, they laugh and carry on about the Hindu faith, but I'll tell you what, I've actually reading the Bhagavad Gita and some of the Vedic text, the other Vedic texts. I'll tell you what, there's a lot of truth in those texts, and you're ignorant if you believe that that's all just make-believe, because I'll tell you what, those texts are about 2,000 years or older than your Bible is. So, laugh all you want, but there's truth there. Now, I'm not saying that worshiping elephant gods and such is, which those are obviously metaphors, and astrotheology and other such things, and Anunnaki worship, but that's why it's easy, I think, for some people in the Western world to laugh at the Hindu faith. It's because of, some of the characterizations of their gods and stuff. But I'll tell you what, you read the Bhagavad Gita and you realize real quick that Krishna, the Christ, is very similar to the character in the New Testament. I'm not saying they're the same. I'm saying it's an archetype that these people that we see across many ancient texts, ancient religions, ancient mythologies, same characters, same archetypes. And maybe we'll go and I'll do a video about that here sometime, because there was a guy I used to follow that he passed away a couple years ago, Gerald Clark. Some of you may know him. Look up his work. He was excellent at connecting all these deities and these archetypes, back to the original Enuna in the oldest text that we have on Earth, the Sumerian cuneiform and Akkadian and Errata and all that. So, anyways, guys, to kind of wrap this up, I'm at work. I got to get rolling here. A lot of you already know all this stuff I just laid out, but what I was trying to do was, in layman's terms, make this easy to understand for a lot of people. And because most people like simplified stuff, because let's be real, we live in a culture now where most people have low IQs, partly because they're being poisoned 24/7. Their minds are being poisoned, their bodies are brains are being poisoned, and spiritually they're being poisoned, and they don't think very well. They don't think deeply. They're NPCs, like I said. And so I try to make this as simple as possible for people. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I get technical. For the most part, though, for those of you that may say, hey, you don't go deep enough, you don't do enough details and such. Well, for one, I'm not sitting here driving in my car with a bunch of notes. Now, I could do that if you guys want me just verbatim read off notes and research. This stuff I'm shooting you straight from my spirit, my mind, that the stuff I've been, researching for a long time, most of my life, and connecting the dots. And so I hope you understand that this forum is just me talking to you guys and theorizing and explaining things, not in a formal setting, obviously. And I don't have time to do tons of editing and stuff. I know there's a lot of people, and that's excellent. If you got the expertise and the time to edit for hours and hours and hours and polish up all your work and do it in a nice, beautiful studio and all that, trust me, I am working on setting up a place in my house to set up a little studio. It's going to be a little more of a laid back type deal, but I am trying to get some upgrades on my equipment and some other stuff, and some of you have already reached out to me about helping me with those endeavors, and for those of you that don't know, I'm to raise some money to get some of this stuff set up so I can do a little bit more of a professional setup and start bringing on interviews and stuff. I'm donating, or I'm exchanging my time. $25 gets you a half an hour talk with me on Zoom. We can talk about whatever you want. $50 gets you an hour of my time. That is times one of your most valuable assets, if not your most valuable asset here on Earth. And I'm willing to exchange your currency for my currency, and and we can talk about whatever. So I've already had some people reaching out to me on that, and already setting up some talks. So I'm hoping that's a good way I can raise some funds to build Exit the Matrix up bigger than it is now, and to actually take it into a little more of a professional angle. However, I'm going to always do these types of videos because I feel like we're connecting one-on-one, like we're just, we're chilling and we're talking with each other. And so I know some of you don't like this type of format, and some of you do. So, but this is me, folks. This is how I want to do it, and this is how I do it. And anyways, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, and sorry for the code speak and all that, but folks, this is just the time we live in. I mean, they're sicking algorithms and AI on us 24/7. Any little keyword you say, red flags your videos, your posts, I mean, your comments. I mean, we are so surveilled right now. It is absolutely 1984, George Orwell, mixed with Aldous Huxley's Brave New World type situation we're finding ourselves in. So, with, of course, the good old demiurge demonology behind it all, too. So, but hey, guys, I appreciate you guys, and I will talk to you later.